So here's a fairly simple question. Who is to blame for World War II? Well, that's obvious, right? Hitler. Hitler committed genocide. He manipulated Germany and the rest of Europe. He was the guy that came up with all the ideas. Well, all that may be true, but Hitler didn't just wake up one day and decide to hate the world. Hitler had some bad experiences with Jews. For example, he was kicked out of an art school run by Jews, and his Jewish girlfriend dumped him. Oh, so it's the Jews' fault then. The bullied becomes the bullier effect. I see what you're saying. No, that's a stupid idea. Of course it wasn't the Jews' fault. Oh. No, what I'm saying is, other people shaped who Hitler became. After all, it's not like Hitler was the only anti-Semite out there. And it's not like Hitler could rise to power all by himself. No, it took a group of people to start World War II. And that group of people was the Nazi Party. So it was the Nazi Party then. The Nazi Party who backed up Hitler. They created the anti-Semitic culture. They led Germany into World War II by radical nationalism. Well, yes, we remember the controlling Nazi Party, but it didn't always used to be like that. There were two major events that led to the Nazi Party's rise in popularity. One of those being the Great Depression. The Great Depression started a desire in the German people to return to the good old days when traditional values were upheld and everyone was unified. The Nazi Party appealed to the German people's desires at the time. The second event was when the German Chancellor, Franz von Papen, made a deal with Hitler to essentially make Hitler the new Chancellor. You see, Germany in 1933 had a very weak government, and so they thought that they could gain popularity by adding the budding politician Hitler into their ranks. A very bad move there. I got it. So it's really the German government under von Papen's fault. If they hadn't added Hitler into the government, then Hitler wouldn't have gained power under the Nazi Party. Oh, but the government was kind of in a tight spot. And then there's the whole poverty thing to consider. Right. And let's not forget why the government of Germany was weak and why the Great Depression occurred. See, after World War I, the Allies all basically forced Germany to sign the Treaty of Versailles, which prompted the tight economic situations that led to the Great Depression and forced out the German government to be replaced with von Papen's government. Oh, so it's the Allies' fault then, for forcing Germany into a position which Germany would be desperate enough to cling to the Nazi Party and Hitler. Yes and no. We can't let Germany off the hook so easily. After all, Germany was the main opponent against the Allies in World War I. They signed a blank check to Austria, saying they would support whatever action the Austrian government saw fit to take. They killed many of the Allies, so it's not a wonder why the Allies would want justice, or vengeance, for what Germany did to them. But don't you see? We're right back to where we started. Don't you have any decisive opinion? Like, why can't you just make up your mind? Fine. Yes, there will always be circumstances that tempt us to make wrong decisions, but at the end of the day, when you stand before your Maker, it is your actions, not your circumstances, that you will be judged for. I guess what I'm trying to say is that we can't just go around blaming the other person when there is somewhere that we are at fault. We should recognize our own failures just as much as our neighbors. I think the Black Hand did it. Huh? They were responsible for the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, which prompted the blank check, resulting in World War I, resulting in Versailles, resulting in World War II? Well, I'm sorry. Do you have anything to add? Okay, the Black Hand did it. Yay! So I was Googling and I found out that about 16 million people died in World War I and 60 million people died in World War II. So that means that the Black Hand is responsible for about 76 million people's deaths. Wow, Black Hand? More like Black Death. And you know, it's interesting to think. Oh, just stop it already. Fine. No. Fiend.